So we're going to begin with this explosive clip from Cluminati's live stream. So listen fast. It's worth it.
If everything that they've talked about is true, I've been under the mindset that he left his phone at his apartment. But that's really not what they sort of portray and lay out. It's what they lay out is he had it with him. And it's like, okay, let's say he had it with him and he took pictures while he was there in the midst of this.
Oh my God.
That would be something that would not be released to the public. They wouldn't make that really known. They wouldn't have had it at the time of the PCA, and it could be the nail in the damn coffin against the boy.
Nope.
What?
Nope. It's not pictures. Holy shit balls. Steve, you are the man. Holy shit. It's not photos. He didn't take photos. Oh, I have the goose flesh. I've got the chicken skin. Steve specifically says in this interview later on, the CAS system has really impressed me. The things they're able to do with the tilting of the phone.
Right.
No matter what, if your phone is in airplane mode, which I'm guessing is probably what he did, he didn't turn it off. He's smart. Mm-hmm. With the tilting of the, like Google, right, which you have an account, you have an iPhone account, whatever. Google always measures your movements. So like if you're running, if you're riding a bike, if you're walking, that shit is stored in your phone. That's what he was saying. By the way the phone tilts, he's talking about the movement he made
activity tracking.
During the, by the way the phone tilts, he's talking about the movement he made
activity tracking.
During the, holy shit. That just hit me so hard when you were talking about that, because I'm like, naturally I'm doing that thing where I'm like, okay, I'm tuning him halfway out because I don't think the boy took pictures, but that's just, we do our thing. That's what he is talking about, 100%.
That's not 100% solid to me until I see it laid out.
Mama J, I don't know if you can turn that off in settings, but...
Well, whether you can turn something off or on really only involves how much it actually tracks to an app. The phone actually doing the job that it does, I don't know that it ever stops. It's just how much of it does it actually display to you or interact, provide that data for your interaction.
Exactly. People are under this assumption if they turn off their location, if they can't. So let's just think about this, right? You turn off your location services. If you really believe that your phone does not still have your location, moron.
No,
because guess what? If you call 911, they got to be able to locate you. Stop. You know what I mean? So yes, he could have turned that off in his settings. Doesn't matter.
I think you may be right with the way Steve's looking at it and what he may be aware of, right? But I would have to see it laid out in front of me.
Now, Cluminati does go on to say that this wouldn't necessarily tell the person's exact location, but what it would do is tell us the movement of the car, where it turned, when it accelerated, when it stopped.
So after this live stream, I was completely intrigued. So I did a little research and I found this article by MIT. So I really thought this was extremely fascinating. So I actually want to read you a couple of paragraphs.
Okay, so this is MIT Technology Review. In addition to governing basics like screen orientation, the accelerometer data is widely used by apps such as pedometers and mobile games. Meanwhile, many apps often rely on advertising, which has led advertisers to search for new ways to track users. Accelerometers use technology called microelectrical magnetical systems, or MEMS. In the case of the accelerometer, tiny bars of metal move between other metal bars in response to motion, changing electrical capacitance and indicating 3D movement. A mobile researcher with Wynn Labs at Rutgers University says that the work is novel and important. Accelerometers still do not require permission to be enabled so they can be used stealthily. I think it's great work and points out yet another reason why smartphones shouldn't be allowed easy access to accelerometer data. Other sensors in smartphones, such as gyroscopes, magnetometers, and microphones, might also have similar electronic fingerprints. It is my understanding after doing this research that these sensors within your phone could, at least with a starting point, even if the phone is in airplane mode, tell through the sensors what directions you turned, how fast you went, where you accelerated, where you stopped, and so forth. So even if the unaliver left their phone within their car, the phone would still have the data as to exactly when the car stopped and exactly when the car started again and where it moved and what direction it went. Allegedly, of course, and in my non-professional opinion.
So that's not the only fascinating thing I wanted to share with you today. So now let's talk about this article that was basically dismissed by most media outlets. And let's talk about why this might be true.
So I was talking about the naked perp in my last video. I'll play a little clip here. And I was a little shocked at some of the comments. Either people didn't or hadn't heard this theory, or they had dismissed it as tabloid fodder. So let's just listen.
What if the man clad in black came out the glass slider door, shed down his clothing, put it in his kill kit, like Steve quoted, the kill kit, and then ran naked around the house out the front? So I think that could be one person just covering his DNA tracks, which we know this was somebody who knew what they were doing as far as containing their DNA.
So the article that I am referencing in this clip was written in The Mirror, which is a magazine that is published in the UK. And now I'm just going to read from you a few words from that article. However, one of the surviving roommates, Mrs. Funk, allegedly heard and witnessed things that could exonerate the defendant. Investigator Richard Bitonti, who is working for Ann Taylor, Mr. Kohberger's lawyer, has subpoenaed Mrs. Funk to appear at the accused quote-unquote unaliver's hearing. To the affidavit, she allegedly witnessed a naked man run through the sliding glass door. She lived on the first floor of the home and came face-to-face with the alleged unaliver. She's alleged to have heard and witnessed things that could clear the suspect, Mr. Bitonti argued, and she would be a crucial witness. Mr. Kohberger's lawyer claimed that Mrs. Funk had exculpatory information that is material and necessary to the alleged unaliver's defense. Mr. Bitonti wrote in the affidavit, during the course of the investigation, it became known to me that she has information that is material to the charges against Mr. Kohberger. And according to police, Mrs. Funk found the bodies of the housemates, but she is now disputing the request to appear, as she now lives in Nevada and not Idaho. So let's just make a couple of assumptions about this article. Now, number one, there's a gag order on this case that applies in the United States. This paper is printed in the UK. And unlike the United States, the UK doesn't have the same freedom of speech and freedom of press laws that the United States has. If Mr. Bitonti wanted to stop this article from being published or have it taken down, he certainly could, because he could say that he was offended by it and the paper would be required to respond to his formal request. Let me give you an example. So a recent example that has gained publicity is when Meghan Markle was offended by morning commentator Piers Morgan's opinion on one of his shows. Now, even though Meghan Markle was an American citizen at the time, she was still able to file a formal complaint in the UK. Let me just read you one quick paragraph here from People magazine that reported on this at the time. Meghan Markle made a formal complaint to ITV following Piers Morgan's on-air comments regarding her mental health, which she opened up about during her interview with Oprah Winfrey on Sunday, People reported. Now, I understand that there are a lot of things we have to take into account with this Mirror article regarding BF. However, we do need to consider that this just might be a loophole that the defense for BK has found to leak some information that could help the public image of their client. A major defense loophole.
Major loophole that the defense team has found to get some information out there. So I'd really love to hear your comments below. So thank you for watching, and justice for the Idaho 4.